The Pomodoro Technique is a time management method developed by Francesco Cirillo in the late 1980s. The technique involves segmenting work into timed periods of focused work separated by short breaks. Pomodoro is the Italian word for tomato, and the technique's name comes from the tomato-shaped kitchen timer that Francesco Cirillo used to time his work periods, and each timed work interval is known as a pomodoro. People who can benefit from this technique include those who get easily distracted, individuals who have low productivity, people who lack focus, and those who are not motivated enough to complete tasks. Here are the steps in the original technique. Choose a task to work on. Set the timer for 25 minutes. Work on the task. When the timer rings, stop working and put a check mark on a piece of paper to indicate your completed Pomodoro. If you have completed less than 4 Pomodoros, take a short 5-minute break, and then start another 25-minute work period. After you have completed 4 Pomodoros, take a longer 20 to 30-minute break. How does the Pomodoro technique help you be more productive? One of the big reasons why we are not productive is disruptions. The Pomodoro technique is an effective way to counter interruptions and distractions. There are 2 types of distractions, external and internal. External distractions refer to things such as a coworker asking a question, or unplanned phone calls and meetings. Internal distractions can include the urge to read emails as soon as they come in, or to reply to communications that do not require immediate attention, as well as distractive thoughts and procrastination. A Pomodoro is an indivisible unit of time where you focus on your one task uninterrupted. This means you should not be distracted by incoming emails, team chats or text messages. Usually you can afford to take 25 minutes before replying to an email or message, or returning a phone call. If a coworker comes by partway through a Pomodoro, you can politely tell them you're in the middle of something and ask them if it's okay if you get back to them once you're done. Any ideas or tasks that pop up in your head as you're working should be noted down so that you can go back to them later and keep working on the task at hand. If a Pomodoro truly has to be interrupted, for example in an emergency situation, the Pomodoro should be voided, take a 5-minute break and start again. You should track interruptions when they occur, and reflect on how to avoid them in future work periods. Another benefit of the Pomodoro technique is that it helps you maintain focus. In addition to warding off distractions when you work, Pomodoro technique is structured so that you take a short break after each focused work period. These breaks are designed to keep you mentally fit and focused. Productivity is increased when you are well rested and mentally alert. Taking breaks between tasks helps to refresh your mind so you can tackle your next task with great focus, so make sure you take time to step away from your desk. Go fill up your water, grab a snack, do some stretches, or respond to your friend's text message. But remember to keep the breaks short so that the technique does not become short spans of work followed by long breaks of distraction and wasted time. The Pomodoro technique also helps to maintain focus in that it advocates against multitasking. The first step in the technique is to choose a single task to work on for the entire work period, rather than a few. This is to prevent you from losing time and focus as you switch your attention from one task to another. While the technique requires you to focus on a single task during one Pomodoro, you can focus on another task in the next work period. For example, you can spend the first 25 minutes responding to emails, and then in the next work period focus on building a presentation. The technique allows you to work on multiple tasks, but demands that you focus on just one task at a time. The Pomodoro technique is useful in helping you understand how long a task takes. Why would you want to know how long a task takes? There are many reasons. First, it can help you estimate the time needed for a task more accurately when you do it next time. This can help manage client, team, and management expectations better as you will be able to provide an accurate estimate of when they can expect delivery. Task tracking is also useful for freelancers and those who work on flat-rate projects, as it helps them know their worth and ensures they maintain a profitable hourly rate. The Pomodoro technique allows you to calculate the value of your time, plan your Pomodoro sessions accordingly, and then work to that plan to deliver the outcome so that you don't use too much time and over-deliver, or under-deliver because you didn't give yourself enough time. For example, say a client is willing to pay you $2,000 for a writing project. You value your time at $200 an hour. That means for $2,000, you should be spending 10 hours on the project. With this in mind, plan your Pomodoro work sessions with the target of spending 10 hours in total on the project. Knowing how long it takes you to do research, plan, write a certain number of words, revise, proof and edit will allow you to plan your time effectively and ensure the outcome you produce reflects the value of your time. So how do you track how long a task takes using the Pomodoro technique? First, create a to-do list. This may be all of the things you want to do that day, or it could be all of the tasks that are needed for a project. Next, list the activities and put checkboxes next to each activity for the number of Pomodoro work periods you expect the activity to take. For example, if you expect a task will take 2 25-minute work periods, then put 2 blank checkboxes next to the task. Now start working. Check off a box every time you complete a Pomodoro and track how your expected work time compares to the reality of how many Pomodoros you actually need to complete the task. If you need fewer Pomodoros than you expected, leave the unused checkboxes blank. If you need more work periods than you expected, add extra checkboxes with a different box shape, like circles instead of squares. At the end of the day or project, take a look at your list and make note of how your estimates of the time needed compared to how much time was actually needed, and if you overestimated or underestimated. Task tracking also helps track effort. How many times have you worked non-stop all day, but then have almost no results to show for your workday? Some people have no idea what they spend their time on. Take a few seconds at the end of each Pomodoro to write down the task you worked on, and this will create an activity log of your day so you can see where your time is going, and fix any inefficiencies or poor use of time. For example, if you see that you are spending vast amounts of time checking emails and clicking around in your inbox, make a strategic plan to reduce the amount of time spent on this so that you can focus on completing other tasks. While Francesco Cirillo is quite strict about certain aspects about the Pomodoro technique, such as you cannot keep working once the timer rings, and that you cannot move on to a different task in the same Pomodoro, many people have found it helpful to use variations of the Pomodoro technique and tailor the principles of the technique to better suit their working style. One variation is to change the length of the Pomodoro work periods. Some types of work require longer periods in a creative flow state, so 25 minutes may be too short and the timer would be ringing just as things are starting to flow. As such, people may choose to go with a longer work period. On the other hand, if you have a task that you've been putting off and can't get yourself motivated to get started, it might be helpful to try a shorter work period and tell yourself you only need to work on the task for 15 minutes. Sometimes just getting yourself kick-started with that short 15 minutes is all you need to get into the task, and then you can increase your work time as things start flowing. You can try mixing your time intervals based on your energy level, the type of work and your motivation. The important thing to remember is no matter how long the Pomodoro is, you are completely focusing on the task for that time and not getting distracted. Another variation is that you don't need to stack 4 Pomodoro sessions together as the technique prescribes. If your Pomodoros are 60 minutes long, it might be too much to work 4 60-minute periods before taking an extended break. If your Pomodoros are longer, you may want to take a longer break after each one. When I use the Pomodoro technique, I tailor it so that my work periods are 60 minutes long. When I work on projects, I find I work best when I get on a roll and things start flowing. This takes some time and I want to be able to ride the flow for as long as possible, and this longer work period helps with that. This is likely true for a lot of people who do creative work such as writing, where once you're in the zone and things are flowing, you really don't want to break the flow. I may also tailor the work period to a shorter 30 minutes if I anticipate something might come up and I will need to stop to attend to something else. I also sometimes tailor the breaks that follow the work periods. Sometimes the workflow is so good that even when the timer rings, my brain is still completely on task and focused, and I find I can't stop thinking about what's next. If this is the case, I will choose to start the next work session without taking a break. However, if I find that I'm tired and unfocused, I will take the break and step away. If you are interested in trying out the Pomodoro technique, I have some Pomodoro session videos that you can use to time your work sessions and breaks. I will put the links for these in the description. Here are some other tips to keep in mind when using the Pomodoro technique. If a task takes more than 5 to 7 Pomodoros, break it down. For example, you need to do research for an article you are writing, and you anticipate you will need 7 Pomodoros to complete all of the research. This can be a very overwhelming task. You can break it down so that you use 1 Pomodoro to research topic A, 2 Pomodoros to research topic B, 1 Pomodoro to research topic C, and 3 Pomodoros to research topic D. By breaking it down into smaller parts, you can focus on a single task in each Pomodoro and see the progress you make as you complete Pomodoros. Experiment to find the right work period length for you. The prescribed 25-minute Pomodoro might work for you, or you might need something that's shorter or longer. Keep in mind longer sessions can lead to fatigue and loss of focus, but shorter sessions will lead to more frequent breaks which can disrupt your workflow. Experiment and figure out what suits your personality and circumstances the best. Remember, the Pomodoro technique is a productivity system and should be used to help you maximize your productivity. If you're making great progress on your task and the timer rings, it's okay to deviate slightly from the system and finish what you're doing before taking a break. Remember, the goal is to help you get into the zone and stay focused, as well as take breaks to refresh your mind and stay productive. As long as you are accomplishing this, it is okay if you don't adhere strictly to the system. So here are some reasons to use the Pomodoro technique. It helps you manage distractions and control your time. It helps you maintain focus and reduce mental fatigue. It can provide you with a record of your work and productivity. It can improve your planning for future tasks and projects. Have you tried the Pomodoro technique? Share your thoughts and experiences below in the comments. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to share it with others who are also on a quest to increase productivity.